समुद्र के पास ना बहुत जगह होती है अपने आप को शोकेस करने के लिए प्रॉब्ली, बट व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट रिवर, नदी के पास बहुत कम जगह होती है। उसी में वो फियर्स भी है, वो काम भी है। इन दैट स्पेस ओनली, उतनी सी जगह में वो बह रही है, उसी में आप यू कैन सी ऑल दी emotions and expression. She's fierce, she's calm, she's lovable. She's different as the sunrise, she's different as the sunset.
हेलो एवरीवन, द आयरॉनिक शो के एक और एपिसोड में आपका फिर से स्वागत है। आज का ये पॉडकास्ट मेरे लिए थोड़ा पर्सनल है, थोड़ा स्पेशल है। आज जो मेरी गेस्ट हैं, शी इज अ फ्रेंड फ्रॉम स्कूल। इंडीड इस पॉडकास्ट के थ्रू मेरी उनसे 20 सालों के बाद बात हुई। माय गेस्ट टुडे शांभवी is an avid trekker. She is the founder of Tate, which is a boutique of handcrafted sarees. Over the past 20 years, I have watched her grow. I have watched her break all the shackles and make her own way. Indeed, I feel immensely proud that I am from the same school as she is. If you are a rebel at heart, if you are someone who wants to break all the shackles and make an imprint on this world, this episode is for you. इस पॉडकास्ट में हमने बात की शांभवी के पूरे जर्नी की, उनके ट्रैवलिंग एक्सपीरियंसेस की, एक बूटस्ट्रैप्ड कंपनीज के क्या क्या चैलेंजेस होते हैं, एंड आल्सो बीइंग एन वुमन एंटरप्रेन्योर, व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस दैट शी हैज फेस्ड ओवर द कोर्स ऑफ हर करियर एंड ओवर द कोर्स ऑफ हर जर्नी एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर। हमने इन सारे चीजों पे बात की। गो अहेड एंड एंजॉय दिस एपिसोड। हाय शांभवी,
Hi.
वेलकम टू द आयरॉनिक शो। कैसा लग रहा है यहाँ पे? मुझे तो बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है।
I saw the first episode and it was amazing. I think it takes a lot of guts to do something which is unconventional, because when we were in school, we were all 90 kids, and when we were in school, we were all raised to be engineers, doctor, IAS and IPSs. So probably doing something which is not conventional is a good
Hands
start.
up, I was never engineering or doctor material. कभी
I
भी नहीं
think
था
so.
मैं। Okay, so before we get into the heavy stuff, I have one list that I've created for you.
Yes.
तो इससे पहले कि हम डिस्कशन शुरू करें, ये लिस्ट है आपके पास्ट रोल्स की।
जी।
Okay, so starting with creative executive big box media.
Yeah. Yes.
Internship with NDTV.
Yes.
Journalist with Times of India.
Yes.
Joint Secretary South Asian Women in India. In media.
Yeah.
Senior correspondent Telegraph. Content producer local. Content developer ST Media.
Yes.
Executive producer Red FM. ग्रोथ एडिटर यूथ की आवाज। ठीक है, फिर आप पास्ट प्रेजेंट रोल पे आ गए, तो यहाँ पे क्यों रुके? और भी बढ़ा सकते थे इस लिस्ट को तो आप शायद।
I think so. This is one of the most asked questions from people when I say that I was a journalist and I've started something of my own. I started my own brand. So I somehow feel that there's a lifetime of a journalist. There's always एक वक्त होता है जब तक आप अपना 100% दे सकते हो, वो किसी भी तरीके से हो सकता है। Probably आप तैयार नहीं हो, या the society is not ready. And also I come from a very old school of journalism. The best that I have spent in my life was those 5 years with Telegraph. I have learned a lot, and also my whole education, everything that happened in Calcutta. So if you know Calcutta, you know Calcutta. That's the thing. So it liberates you. It kind of give you that whole space जहाँ आप अपनी बात रख सकते हैं. And I somehow feel कि जब मैं पढ़ाई कर रही थी और जब बड़ी हो रही थी और जब काम करना शुरू किया, और काम करते करते बहुत चेंजेस देखे मीडिया में. So I probably the society was ready for those changes. I as a journalist wasn't ready for those changes. I still think that journalism is more like it's more like news and less of views. We today have more of views and less of news. So
exactly.
So that's it. Yes, I'm a person who does it. I mean, बहुत दिल से करती हूँ जो भी करती हूँ. अगर मुझे एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम के बाद लगता है कि नहीं, यहाँ अब दिल नहीं लग रहा, I'll just switch on. It's the thing. When I joined Big Boss, for example, so I started it. I won't say I started out of passion, because I just lost my dad, and we were not in a good financial position to kind of finance me and my brother's education and everything. So I just started it, because I used to go to college and then second half में मैं job करने जाती थी. This is how it started. So also one of the reasons that जो मेरे जो भी batchmates हैं उनसे ज़्यादा मेरा professional experience रहा है because I started it early and it was just out of necessity, not out of passion, but I enjoyed it. So for me, it was more of like I started writing creatives, I started designing creatives like on a paper. I was not a designer, but I learned a lot about advertisement and branding and everything. And probably after that, NDTV happened. I worked there for 1 year. Again, मुझे लगा कि शायद 30 seconds में 20 seconds में I won't be able to put up my stories because I somehow feel I'm a person who is very connected to lot of things. So I थोड़ा भी connection हुआ, हाँ नहीं हो रहा है, just leave. तो वैसे ही करते करते Times of India and then Telegraph happened. Telegraph, I enjoyed it, and that's also one of the reasons I've worked there for 5 years. And then HD happened, and then transitional mein local and everything happened. HD was a major change in my career because I just shifted to Delhi from Patna, और वहां से फिर Red FM happened, and then again Youth Ki Awaaz happened. So I think by the time I was in HD, the only thing was left is radio and digital in terms of journalism and in terms of my versatility. So इसी वजह से फिर रेडियो भी स्विच करके देखा कि रेडियो में मजा आया काम करने में.
So coming back to your present role, which is the founder and CEO of Tate, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yes, Tate,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, and you're also district in charge, Patna, for the Plurals Party.
Yes, I was actually.
Okay,
I
okay.
was, yes.
So journalism, politics, entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So
Happened.
how do you just connect the dots? It just happened, I believe so.
So yeah, I am a very firm believer of कि आप एक ही बार जीते हो. So there shouldn't be any regret. When I was a journalist, so the only person who was very worried about was my mom. She said that you have studied so hard to become a journalist, और अभी आप बोल रहे हो कि नहीं journalism नहीं करना है. तो she was like a bit, and then Indian parents they think कि politics क्यों करना है. तो माय मॉम हैड टू क्वेश्चन दैट एक तो छोड़ा छोड़ा चलो ठीक है तो पॉलिटिक्स में क्यों आ रहे हो. सो आई जस्ट मेड हर अंडरस्टैंड दैट इट्स अ हाई टाइम व्हेन वी टेक द चार्ज. अगर हम चार्ज नहीं लेंगे तो शायद सी दैट्स द होल थिंग. अभी हमें इतनी प्रॉब्लम है हर चीजों से because we have stopped taking charges. Once you start taking
Absolutely.
charge of things, probably you'll understand that how people behave and how you should also behave towards certain situations. So also one of the reasons that politics was yes very accidental. जब मैंने शुरू किया था Plurals Party के साथ, I had no clue that I'll get a ticket or I will be approached for candidacy. But then it just happened because they thought that probably I'm the right person, and I don't know if I'm a right person or not. But I gave my best. I got just 11 days for campaigning, and I think Digha in India is one of the largest constituency, not only in Bihar. So 11 days, and I don't know how many kilometers I walked, how many people I've talked to, but I just tried कि मैं उस चीज को जितनी दिन भी हूँ जब तक भी हूँ उसको अच्छे से मैं अपना 100% दूँ. And then this happened because I have immense love for sarees. I started wearing sari when I joined journalism. A lot of people used to come and said, "Are you married? Are you married?" And then I started wearing it more because I just thought that sari you just cannot associate a culture और एक औरत को कि हाँ शादीशुदा हो तभी कर सकते हो. So that was one of the first rebellious thing that I probably did. तो उसके बाद से I started wearing sari a lot, and then I was always focused on handlooms and hand painted things because my mom, she's a very good, I mean, she's not a painter, but she paints really well. So I've seen her doing it, and then I thought might as well I should try, at least give it a try. And I have seen when I was campaigning around, and I travel a lot, I see a lot of people, a lot of viewers. So मैंने देखा है they are not in a good shape, and the way we are moving towards fast fashion, so we have left behind sustainability, this handloom and everything. So I was more focused on to there's this thing in our mind with that we talk about ASAP. So affordable sarees, authentic sari at affordable price. So it's just that we'll give you authentic thing, but you don't have to pay a bomb. यहाँ बेसिकली यही हुआ है कि अपने हैंडलूम के नाम पर हैंड क्राफ्टेड के नाम पर बहुत पैसे लिए लोगों से. or people just stopped wearing it. And also onset of the whole machine made clothes and everything has, people have just stopped wearing it. तो मुझे लगता है कि ठीक है, माइट एज वेल जितने में आपको शायद प्रॉब्ली से थोड़ा महंगा पड़ेगा, आपने जो मशीन के कपड़े पहन रखे, बट दिस विल सस्टेन, दिस विल बी देयर. सो दिस इज हाउ इट ऑल स्टार्टेड.
Okay. So, but then again, starting a business and that to a bootstrap business, I
Yeah,
mean, so there are always challenges, right?
always,
So,
yes.
what are the challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome that?
See, we started it online first, and the first thing first was to finance the business. I mean, from your own, it's this hardened savings that you kind of save for future. But then I decided to go all out with it. So we started it from Banaras, बहुत पास में था. तो हमें लगा कि हम यहाँ से प्रोक्योरमेंट हमारे लिए आसान हो जाएगी, सिंस आई एम स्टेशन इन पटना. तो आई थिंक वो धीरे 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 करके एक एक कड़ी जुड़ती गई. इट्स जस्ट दैट व्हेन you work hard for it, thing will fall into places. That has happened to me also. So we started it from Banaras, we started financing ourselves, and we started doing it like घर से खुद से photography कर रहे थे and everything. And then I decided, you know, if you have to make a brand, you have to give like all of it. So is you just
Absolutely.
can't, you know, you just can't restrain yourself by saying कि अरे photography में बहुत खर्चे हैं, can't do it, but you have to do it because that's how it is. That's how your customer will probably see you, how you make a brand. So the first thing that we did in October 2000, probably 21 was to do the photography of the product. We just knew the market now that if you sell something at authentic price and people will come and get it from you. And then our first biggest order was from Kerala, where these women from South India, they ordered Banarsi sarees. Just I somehow feel that what made the difference was the photography. Because we have been trying a lot to sell and not focused on the photography. Once we started doing the photography, it was all out. It was all there on the website. So we started from there, and then we thought, ki, chalo, let's try it, and you know, just try it in the market, like because right now it's just on the website. People come, and so you know what is online shopping is your intuition. Your intuition says, oh no, it's a good fabric, and you'll just go and buy it. Your gut feeling which says it. But when your gut doesn't allow it, probably because of the cost, because of the fabric, because of the color, अगर ये सब नहीं होता है, तो then you will think अरे ठीक है दुकान होता तो अच्छा होता. So we started with the exhibitions here, and then we managed to get a small store. It was for like 300 square feet, 380 square feet, and it was on a profit sharing basis. It was not a store. It was an experiment center. Come and you know, if you've selected some sari online, if you're from Patna and you have time, you can come at the store and see what kind of fabric it is. So the basic concept was that. So people actually started coming and looking at the sarees and saying that you know you we don't have, so Patna doesn't have a store where we get all these kind of sarees hand printed and handloom and everything. So kind of that kind of boost our morale, and then we shifted last year December, we shifted to a bigger place. It's a flat, we and then this was also very unconventional for a lot of people. They said कि अरे फ्लैट में कैसे खोलोगी, यहाँ तो बहुत कमर्शियल है सब कुछ. एंड आई डोंट नो, आई जस्ट चोज कि ठीक है ना, अलग है, लोगों को शायद याद रहेगा, दैट विल बी द रिकॉल वैल्यू फॉर द ब्रांड. एंड एक्चुअली पीपल स्टार्टेड रिमेम्बर लाइक अच्छा जो फ्लैट में उन्होंने जो जिस फ्लैट को ऐसा दुकान सा बनाया या बुटीक सा बनाया है, जो भी लोगों को समझ में आता है लोग बोलते हैं. आई थिंक एट टाइम्स एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर, and also if you've started it, you know, it's a bootstrap business, I think you should always go by your guts, your intuition. Your intuition can never be wrong because that's your baby child. You can't go wrong with something you have made, you have created so carefully. So this is how the whole store and everything happened.
Uh, Great. I mean, so I have seen the brand personally, and I can really vouch for it that you are going to go places. So
Thank you
hats
so much.
off to the work that you have already put in. Okay. So after all these, hard work that you're putting into building a brand, doing it all on your own. So how does Shambhavi unwind at the end of the day?
I travel, you know. So I always wanted to travel, and then so I just called my mom and said, Mom, I say, no, I'm thinking of starting a sari business. The first thing my mom said, मेरे को पता है क्यों कर रही हो तुम, तुम्हें इसलिए करना है क्योंकि तुम्हें ट्रैवल करना है. So this business it just fits in. So
Okay.
when I go to, so we have sarees, as I said, we have saree from different states. So I have never been to Madhya Pradesh. That was, one of those few states which were left. I went to Madhya Pradesh just for sari, and I travel and I do my business. It is a work travel. I travel and then I come back. So for me, unwinding is traveling. It's very, very important. And to be very precise in traveling, trekking. I won't have been so much into trekking, but yes, I mean, that's the ultimate thing that I do to unwind, to trek, to go to mountains, to just stay, you just, it makes you calm, I somehow feel.
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि माउंटेन्स सीम टू बी योर फेवरेट डेस्टिनेशन फॉर एनी हॉलिडे और एवरीथिंग, राइट?
Yes,
एंड
yes,
इट सीम्स टू बी वेरी इंटीग्रल पार्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ.
always, yes.
हाउ डिड दैट लव अफेयर, आपका ये माउंटेन के साथ जो लव अफेयर ये कैसे शुरू हुआ?
It started in 2012, 12, 13 around. My first solo trip was Rajasthan, and then of course I went to Rishikesh all on my own. And I think so. I'm a water person. So there are people who attach themselves to sea, mountains. So mountain probably was not my first love. It was the river which was my first love. So I'm always very intrigued to see rivers because rivers, sea, समुद्र के पास ना बहुत जगह होती है अपने आप को
राइट.
शोकेस करने के लिए प्रॉब्ली. बट व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट रिवर, नदी के पास बहुत कम जगह होती है. उसी में वो फियर्स भी है, वो काम भी है. इन दैट स्पेस ओनली, उतनी सी जगह में वो बह रही है, उसी में आप यू कैन सी ऑल दी emotions and expression. She's fierce, she's calm, she's lovable. She's different as the sunrise, she's different as the sunset. So that intrigued me. And of course, river, if you talk about river, there's no river without mountains. So I think started from there, and uske baad I went to Rishikesh. And I went there for a week, and after that there was no looking back. After that, then जब मैं ऋषिकेश गई ना, I used to think कि यार उस पहाड़ के उस पार कैसे जाते हैं, कुछ तो होता होगा. And at that point of time, it's not, it's just that 90 kids were not exposed to travel and trekking and everything. This is about point. I did my first trek, I think in 2016 somewhere. That was first trek was Kedarkanta, and I loved it. I said there's nothing better than trekking because you just अब जो unwanted लोग होते हैं, unwanted sound होता है, जो hustle होता है, you just leave it पीछे और आप आराम से जाकर के चलो. So I am a very sunrise and sunset chaser. So I think mountain is the best place, and it keeps me calm. I remember I cried a lot when I did Chandrashila. And I just reached there and I saw all the mountains. So Chandrashila is the summit from where you can see a lot of ranges around. So I just went there and saw that, life, we are all in a ego trip with each other. We kind of say कि अरे उसने ऐसा कह दिया हम बात नहीं करेंगे, या उसने ऐसा कर दिया हम ये नहीं करेंगे. And sorry, I'm a hum person. मैं हम करके ही बोलती
नहीं
हूँ.
प्लीज.
So it's just that कि मैं जब वहां पहुंची तो मुझे लगा कि यार ये जो आप इतनी बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं, आप indifferent होते हैं लोगों से, but when you reach there you feel कि there's nothing as powerful as nature.
राइट.
You will die here, and that's the ultimate truth. You have to decide how you want to die. It's simple. मरना है, but your decision जो है ना कि आपको कैसे मरना है. Your exit will be smooth or not. Your exit will be difficult or not. I think death death is the karmic justice to what you have done the whole life. I firmly believe in that. So, I mean, mountain as a person has also changed me. I mean, nobody can know it better than you. I was a very rebellious kid. Still I am, but I was I was very upfront. But, I didn't care about how people will think about it. If you come and talk to me, I'll be like, हाँ ठीक है, नहीं, it's not looking good or it's looking good or whatever. Like, it was a very plain, very, it's, I don't know how to put it. Like मैं बहुत ऐसे सादे शब्दों में बोल देती थी कि जो भी है वो यही है, very raw. But I think as a person, when I started going to mountain, I realized that you say the truth, but there's always way of putting words across.
एग्जैक्टली.
So probably you can also say, people say कि button if doesn't work, but I am telling you button if works. When you have to say, किसी को आपको बहुत कड़वा सच बोलना होता है ना, these button ifs can heal people instead of tearing them apart. Then you say कि हाँ ये अच्छा नहीं है. If you discard something, but if you give a solution, or if done this way, I think that heals people. That kind of, giving them, not giving them solution, I'm not a savior, but it's just that putting it in a way where but and ifs can literally help people. So I think mountain as a, I don't know, I know my personal growth has been, it has took years, but whatever I am, whoever I am, is just because of mountain and travel. So
Okay. So one thing that you mentioned was that जो आपने rivers के बारे में बताया, so they have a very small space to where they can showcase themselves. So does that come from the scenario that, I mean, even we are from the same city, of course. So does that come from the fact that you belong from a small town, right, wherein the opportunities were probably less than
lesser than,
what people had in metro cities? So does that reflect somewhere?
so I somehow, uh, there are very few places and few people I'm very thankful to. Calcutta is one of them. I love that city. One of the reasons that I was not in favor of working in Calcutta was that I do not want to abuse a city. Once you start working in a city, you abusing the traffic, the people, and everything. So I decided not to work there because I still love it. I am madly in love with that city. So I remember I was in Deoghar. When I went to Calcutta, it was a whole new world. We come from a small town where things as simple as wearing a jeans and a short top was considered to be very modern and not,
Right.
you were considered to be not good girl. The whole definition of good girl started wearing salwar kameez, which is perfectly fine. I mean, clothes doesn't define you. I somehow feel, but that was the whole mentality of the place. And then going to Calcutta, when meeting women who were really empowered, like I'm not talking about that if they're wearing jeans, they're empowered. No, in terms of knowledge, in terms of their thought process, in terms of how you kind of speak about yourself. So I think that has changed me as a person also. And also the, किसी जगह के positive होती है, negative भी होता है. Then I came back to Patna, I went to Delhi. So people used to look at me like, no, she comes from a very small town. So people have this preconceived notion. When I think I went to Delhi, and my first interaction with the guy was that, acha, you're from Bihar. I said yes. Acha, katta chalana aata hai. So the constant
Right.
gazing of people, people being judgmental that, oh, you are a Bihari, you don't look like one. Acha, you're a Bihari, you can speak English. I'm surprised. So there is a constant pressure on you to perform, to kind of ऐसे सब लोगों को दिखाना है कि I can do it. I come from a small town, but I can start a conversation. I can be presentable. I can speak good English. So it has been a struggle for. I think I think सारी लड़कियों के लिए in general who come from a small town, it's a struggle for them to first you are made as a girl, you're made to think in a conventional way, which might be wrong, which might be right. And then you see the whole world in a very unconventional space, in a very unconventional way. So I think the struggle of existing between conventional and unconventional is one of the biggest challenge for girls who come from small town city. And hats off, you've all survived. I think the whole thing of river and the whole small town connection is, yes, it's there because we have a very small space to thrive, to survive, because people who are from towns and cities and probably from better school, from better college, from better educational background, privileged, uh, they give a very small space for
Right.
them.
Absolutely. Yes.
You make your space. So when I started talking to people, meeting people, I was given a very small space because I'm from Bihar. People had a preconceived notion. But then now if I talk to you, I think कोई भी state ऐसा नहीं है जहाँ मेरे friends नहीं है. I have friends all across the country, and I'm very proud of myself. I mean, there are very few people will come up front and say I'm proud of myself, how I've thrived being a small town girl and being, I mean, doing whatever I have liked, not being afraid about wearing a hot pant or wearing a sari, or going all short hairs, just carrying the curls, not doing it straight because it was conventional. So I think yes, we've all survived.
So I think I will be repetitive here. What I mentioned earlier as well, that you have always appeared someone who believes in breaking down all the barriers. You will take no nonsense, right? And you will create your own path. So how does that courage comes to you? So is it the family, because you started from a very young age?
I think most of the things that I have today is because of my mom. I have see, we all come from a very patriarchal background, lesser patriarchal, probably in a very mediocre patriarchal. I think somehow my grandfather was a very pro feminist. It's just that he knew the matter of fact that if you're a girl, you do not have to be in a certain way. So it's a very, I came from a very different family where, despite of being so many girl, as a grandchild, but my daddy was not concerned that if she'll get a grandson or not. I was privileged again, yes, that I came from a family where women were kind of supported and were not looked down upon. And yeah, I think my mom has been a very great source of support. And so we lost our father, my mom was 38 years old. So, and she was not working. And the first thing that came to our mind was that, the survival, because all of us were in our own spaces doing something, creating something, studying, and studying hard to make it happen. She was the only one who was left alone in my hometown. So, but then I saw her, I mean, at the age of 38, because she left, she did her MA in Sanskrit long back. And then
Okay.
that was the first Bihar TET happening, Bihar, the teacher eligibility test. And she just calls me and said that I want to sit for this examination. She was B.Ed by then. I was like, "ठीक है, बैठ जाओ," but because she had the only that year left. After that, probably she won't be able to take examination because of the age limit. So I said, "ठीक है, अब बैठ जाओ, I mean, whatever feels like." So she said, "Okay." And then I went. Durga Puja की छुट्टी हुई, and I went back home and I saw her. Like I've never seen somebody working so hard. She used to get up at 4 o'clock, study, 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 do all the household chores because there were only three of us. We used to do it, and then and every time I used to go to the room, she used to study. And I mean, I'm very proud of her. I don't know if I said her or not, but I'm very proud of her because uh, that year, only 2% of the total candidate who applied actually made it through. And my mom was one of
Oh,
them.
wow.
And then by the time, because I was a journalist, by the time the news came that only 2% of them has, make it through, I was like, 2% में हो गया.
मैंने तो
I was
इतनी
like,
पढ़ाई नहीं करी, मम्मी ने कैसे कर ली?
I know. And we would have still, but after 20, at the age of 20, 21, she left. And again, picking it after 18 years is a great deal. It's a big deal. So I think,
Absolutely.
yes, I somehow I get it from her, the whole to struggle and to keep going. I think I get it from her. And we are very proud of her. So yes, so we do have, see, this is what I'm saying, you don't have to look for ideal or look for inspiration गूगल पे जा करके, बिकॉज हम लोग क्या करते हैं, तो ठीक है, गूगल पे जा करके ढूंढते हैं कि हमारा इंस्पिरेशन, नो, like all the women, I think every household has a woman who might have rebelled at some point of time, succeeded, not succeeded, it's a different thing. Rebel is the ultimate truth, you see. So I think there are a lot of, every household will have, and I think we should look in our houses instead of taking inspiration from people outside. So yes, that's how it works, I guess.
So I think you should be the face of my podcast, because that's exactly what the overall thought process behind the Ironic show was, to bring out such stories. And because we know the stories, I mean, the celebrities and all, we know, right?
Yes,
But
yes,
there
of
are a lot
course.
of stories, like when I'm speaking to you, I had no idea of, because you have gone through so much. And there are friends of mine, who have struggled, who have built their own businesses, and they are surviving. So those stories needs to come out. Not everybody can be Aman Gupta or an Anupam Mittal, right?
I
There
know.
are
Yes,
Shambhavis in
yes.
the world. There are other people in the world.
So I think,
Okay.
the only thing is I have always said that, sorry, I've just cut you because
Yeah, yeah.
I firmly believe. So there's this Darwin theorem we have all been, educated about, that survival of the fittest. But ये जो होड़ है ना fittest होने की, the whole दौड़ जो है, जो होड़ मची है लोगों के में कि हम fittest होंगे, we somehow, I feel that ठीक है, you survive because you're the fittest, but I as a person think that those who are fittest will survive, but that doesn't mean who are not fit, they are not, they don't have rights to survive. So as a person, I somehow feel that अगर आप survive कर चुके हैं, you are the fittest, please lend your hands to people who are not fit. I mean, according to the society or probably whatever, but then you should just lend hands and reach out. It's the point where we, being privileged, should reach out to the people who are underprivileged, and ये जो fill this gap, because ये जो लोगों में जो आ रही है ना कि इनके पास पैसा आ गया है, ये अमीर है, ये गरीब है, ये इसी वजह से आती है, because we as a person have stopped helping each other, stop lending hands. It will not make you a smaller person. You are privileged, and I somehow feel कि the ये सबसे बड़ी स्ट्रेंथ है आपकी, अगर आप समझते हैं कि आप प्रिविलेज्ड हैं, which means you understand your privilege, and which also means that you understand who are underprivileged and you can help them out. So अगर ये आप समझते हैं कि आपकी privilege point क्या है, I think you should always, मैं कोई महान नहीं बनती हूँ ये सारा काम करके to help people around, but this is what I said, that your death is the karmic justice to what you have done the whole life. So yes, it will be.
So and probably adding to your point, अब जो जनरेशन या फिर अब जो टाइम आ रहा है, ये पहले एक था कि हमेशा होड़ मची रहती थी या कंपटीशन था एक. Now we are moving on from a time of competition to a time of collaboration.
Yes,
I think
yes.
when you collaborate, आप खुद भी आगे बढ़ते हो, आपके साथ दूसरा भी आगे बढ़ता है, and it takes the whole society up. So
you know what, Ronik, we were 2005 batch. I mean, few days back, like 3 days back, we were talking about DAV, the whole alumni thing and everything. I have immense respect for 2006 batch. They were a year junior to me. So we were in a phase when we were like, fighting like cats and dogs to get marks. Go to the teacher and say, sir, ek marks छूट गया, इसको कैसे एक mark दे दिया. And at that point of time, I saw the whole 2006, whoever from the 2006 batch is listening, I am super proud of them, because, that was a point when I saw they were competitive, but they were constructive. वो लोग ना ऐसे एक दूसरे के पीछे नहीं पड़े होते थे कि उसका कम कर दो, हमारा बढ़ा दो. They were not, हम नेगेटिव वे में भी कॉम्पिटिटिव होते हैं, where we are sadist, we are mean. They were not. And the whole 2006 batch, if I'm not wrong, they are doing excellently good in their professional lives. I think it's not always that आपको बड़ों से सीखना होता है. I have learned a lot from them. How to be very constructive about your, when people kind of and give you advices, how to be very constructive in competition. So they were the one. They were super good. They were super talented. And I've never seen people like all आपस में बैचमेट्स को लड़ते हुए या झगड़ा करते हुए. They were all super chill together.
So unfortunately, even our education system supports, आप ज्यादा नंबर ला रहे हो तो you are the one.
Yes,
जो
yes,
कम
yes,
नंबर ला रहा है
definitely.
उसकी तो कुछ है ही नहीं. So probably that has also, inculcated that mindset कि नहीं नंबर लाना है, मुझे इससे आगे बढ़ना है.
वही, the survival of
क्या
the
होता है?
fittest.
But at the end of the day, after 10 साल 15 साल बाद आप क्या करते हो नहीं करते हो लाइफ में, वो मैटर कर जाती है.
See, I still remember that I was a gold medalist in my master's in journalism, and probably, it's just that I was never good at studies. I failed in maths when I was in ninth standard. I somehow feel like you in a school, because also the Indian education system is such that you're kind of raised to be, perfect. Sorry, I'm not perfect. I'm flawed. And I'm okay with it. I am not a science person. I am probably humanities and art person and creative person. That doesn't mean I'm looking down upon people who are taking sciences. But the way you have been looking down upon us, because we wanted to take humanities and arts, is not acceptable. I somehow feel that that's where the whole thing starts. The competition that अच्छा आपने तो arts लिया, आपके बेटे ने तो commerce लिया, which means that he's not good at study. How do you know he's not good at studies, man? I'm sorry, but trigonometry मुझे कहीं काम नहीं आ रही है अभी. I am sorry, people who love maths, but guys, I have no clue why I studied trigonometry and algebra at the first place. So yes.
Okay, I think something in my mind tell me we should stop here. But I have one question. Is there a feeling of existence? Is there a sense of existence and the sense of achievement? कि अब तक मैंने जो किया अपने टर्म्स पे किया है and I love it.
It is because so when you're doing business, see, every time I have resigned on my own terms. I have resigned for my, for things that has happened to me, not to the company, not to the employees. It's just that everything revolves around me because I think if you don't take care of yourself, your own career, you don't take charge of yourself, people will. So to exist, just to exist is a big thing. Surviving, not surviving, probably there are times when you will survive, but to exist and to exist, I think you have to keep going. I have kept going despite of Tate has seen a lot of lows. I think everyone, हम लोग सब लोगों के life में there is a point where we feel that we are not going anywhere, we're just stagnant. Tate also has seen all those phases, but we have just gracefully come out of that. So existing, yes, I feel that I exist because I have given my sweat and blood to whoever I am today. So I have all rights to exist, and I don't think that आप अपनी existence लोगों को चिल्ला चिल्ला करके बता सकते हो. I think somehow silence will do it for you. I think that's the grace that silence has.
Thank you, Shambhavi ji. I think आपके अंदर अभी इतनी सारी चीजें और हैं वो इस एपिसोड में हम कवर नहीं कर पाएंगे. जो आपका एक
We'll
philosophical
sit
side है.
one to one and talk over a cup of
Exactly, we'll
coffee.
have to do it some other time. And thank you so much for your time, Shambhavi. And just wanted to know how was the experience.
I
आपको
loved
कैसा
it
लगा?
because this is what I've said you before when we were talking that I really love people who do something unconventional. I really love people when they come up with something new and challenges the whole idea of the society that look, I'm not an engineer, not a doctor, not an IS officer, not a government employee. I'm doing something with a love. I am super proud of you. No, but then I just loved it. I loved this, and I kind of congratulate you for this.
Thank you.
It's all the best because I know from here there's no looking back. I know from here the kind of effort you're putting in, there's no looking back.
Okay. Thank you, Shambhavi, and it was wonderful speaking to you. Probably we'll have you again very, very soon on this episode, on this
Sure
iRonik show.
thing. I would
And we'll
love
speak
to.
about some other heavy stuff.
Yes.
And thank you. God bless and congratulations on what you have achieved and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.